Hey, good afternoon, guys. This is Nate Pennington from RunDreamAchieve.com. And in today's video, I'm just going to give you some first-time advice for first-time marathon runners. I know the marathon is going to be a challenge for you. You're probably really excited about getting out there for the first time and experiencing what running a marathon is like. Um, more than anything, the best advice I always try to share with runners, regardless if they're totally beginners or um, very well advanced in the marathon distance, is really paying attention to your hydration practices in training. A common problem that a lot of distance runners that are focusing on the marathon distance, myself included over the years, have made or will continue to make unless they really hone in on this, is not drinking enough fluid in their race. It's really critical that you first realize that this isn't a 5K or a 10K distance. It's a long race, and it's a race that requires a great deal of energy. So you need to focus on drinking, if at all possible, every 3 miles in the race. Usually they hand out gels, which is just about between 100 and 120 calories. It's like a goo gel that they give you out, usually around mile 8 and 17 in a marathon. And not missing those, along with drinking sufficient fluids in your race, will really help you get to the finish line. And that's really, overall, that's really the goal that we all want as distance runners. We want to, if we're focusing on the marathon distance, we want to get to the start line healthy, and we want to get to the finish line in one piece and survive the distance. So, just be advised. There's a lot of excitement that comes with running a marathon. You're going to be out there with a lot of really inspired, driven other people and athletes from all over the world that are doing what you want to do. So focus on, as far as advice for first-time marathon runners. I would really focus on finding it first and foremost. What exactly is the pace that you want to hold for the distance, and then gradually over, preferably a 16-week block of training, really hone in on getting used to the pace that you want to hold. And you got to practice that pace often. Um, you know, when I was training, well, I'm still training, but when I was training to break a 2 hour and 22-minute marathon, which back in 2008 was the USA Olympic Trials B standard, I really had to focus on, for me, I had to get used to running. What do I need to do in order to hold 26.2 miles at 5 minutes and 25 seconds per mile? So that for me was my objective. For you, it can be it could be the same pace. It could be 8-minute pace. It could be 9-minute pace. It could be 10-minute pace, or slower or faster. We all have different capabilities. So it's really important that you focus on getting used to what that pace feels like. And the best way to do that, obviously, is getting on the track and doing repeats, like repeat 1000s or repeat 1 mile repetitions on the track at like 45 seconds to a minute faster than you want to run at the marathon, for the marathon distance. So obviously, gradually extending the distance of your long runs is very important. Get used to gradually, over time, extending the amount of time that you're spending on your feet is really important. And obviously, really practicing those hydration practices in training first and foremost, because you want to make the mistakes in training first. You don't want to go into a race where you feel like you haven't experienced what you want to do in training first and foremost. I mean, it's really important to be willing to make some mistakes in training. That way, when you get to the race, you're going to be really inspired and focused and prepared well to run a great race. There's a lot of things that go into running a great marathon, especially if you're doing this for the first time. It's really important to get proper sleep. There's a lot of variables you got to do right, and as long as you're putting forth the effort every day and doing the best that you can to prepare for this event, you're going to do a great job. And I just encourage you to be patient with yourself. It's very, very it takes a lot of time to prepare well for a marathon, because it's 26.2 miles. It's 42.2 kilometers. It's not you're not running a mile on the track or 5K. But that being said, definitely maintain enthusiasm, have a good time with yourself and training, and with training partners. Hopefully that you're find a group in your local area. It's a lot easier to have um, a group of runners to train with and to hold that can hold you accountable to getting up early before you have to go in for work, if that's what you're doing. Most athletes don't have the luxury of getting up, having to get up and do their first workout and then come back, rest, have lunch, and then get ready for a second run. I mean, most people are training full time and working full time jobs, so it's a little bit different for us. I've had one time in my life where I was able to train full time, and ironically, I didn't run my fastest marathon when I had that opportunity. So I ran it after I got off I was with the World Class Army World Class Athlete Program, and didn't make the Olympic trial standard when I was on full-time athlete status, but made it after the Olympic trials were over. 28 days after the 2008 Olympic trials were held, I broke the 2 hour and 20-minute marathon, running 2:19:35, and it just goes to show you there's a lot of times when you're pressured and when you have to structure out your day to fit in not only the track workouts, the long runs, but also work your full-time job. Oftentimes you perform your best, and I really think that's just to remind you that just because you have to juggle a full-time job, if you have a family, if you're in school, these are things that you can balance. It's really just prioritizing your time and really focusing in on what it is you want to do in the marathon. Most athletes have a specific marathon time they want to run, maybe 5 hours, or they want to break 4 hours, or they want to break 3 hours. On RunDreamAchieve.com, actually, I have two courses that I've created. One for marathoners that want to break 3 hours, called the Sub 3 Hour Marathon Pro course, and the other course is called Sub 4 Hour Marathon Mastery. It's another course I created for athletes, obviously trying to break the 4 hour marathon. So if you want to break 3 hours, you need to hold 6 minutes and 52 seconds per mile. If you want to break 4 hours, you got to hold 9 minutes and 9 seconds per mile. So I know there's athletes out there that are trying to break 5 hours, trying to break 6 hours. So we all come in different shapes, different capabilities. But as far as first-time marathon advice, those are the key things, really. Don't lose the enthusiasm. Enjoy what you're doing. Be patient with yourself. Definitely extend the distance that you're putting in terms of your long run. Gradually, as you get fitter, extend the amount of time that you're spending at a faster pace. That's another thing, because you want to get to a point where whatever pace you want to hold for the marathon, you want to make that pace feel more manageable. And you don't want to start a marathon and get 3 or 4 miles in and be just fatigued and taxed, and knowing that you have another 22, 23 miles to go in the race. So yeah, I mean, if you have any other questions in regards to that, regards to running your first marathon, please leave a comment below. I'll make an additional video about it if you'd like, and it's something that I would be willing to help you out with. So hope this has been helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.